Okay, so I am Kyle Sullivan, and in theory, I directed Garden of the Gods, but really, I was just on set. We have Mr. John Richards here, who I've worked with on a couple of different projects, including this one.
Yep.
Mr. Richards, if you don't mind, tell us who you are, what you do in the production community here in the state of Alabama.
Cool. Thank you, Kyle. It was a great experience working with you on all the projects that we've done. I'm kind of just a freelance filmmaker, stuff like that. I make up my own projects. I work with other people around town. I guess you would just say like the best thing I like to do is music videos all the way up to features. So, just variety.
So on Garden of the Gods, you did what exactly? You did set photography, for example.
Yeah, I did a little bit on
party scene day.
On one of the days. The other stuff I did like camera department PA.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I just kind of floated around, and since it was a regular crew, I just kind of picked up certain areas that like I did on other sets with Bill and Mongo and you. Mm-hmm. So it was just natural. I just kind of did everything I could to help out without getting in the way.
Oh man, you did fantastic. And the pictures that you took were really fantastic. In fact, I kind of lament that we didn't have you on set just taking photographs for the entire run, because like there are some days where there are no photos, and it's because we were all busy,
Yeah, that was one thing that we did lack, was all the stuff that we were doing, like the wall, the party. That we did get the party, but all the rest of the stuff, it would have been good to have more than just a cell phone, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a series of about 5 or so questions. No wrong answers. Starting with, and I'd like to know, what movie have you seen the most number of times? Technically, doesn't have to be your favorite. Which one have you logged the most time watching?
Ooh. Yeah, that's a question. There was a lot of movies I fell asleep to over and over again. But I would say maybe growing up as a kid, maybe Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
As I got older, a little bit of the Night of the Creeps. I started watching movies over and over, just to get that feel to be a filmmaker and stuff. But if I would say anything, Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how many times I've seen that movie. I read that book 6 times.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
I was a dinosaur nut as a kid. Of
course,
it's a good answer.
Yeah, and then you know all about the Jurassic Park stuff, where like the other stuff they didn't add to the movies. Like the Chronosauruses had the chameleon DNA, so they're like making in. I think that was like the Lost World, the second novel or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't add that in until Jurassic World, that camouflage feature.
Yeah, it's different. The movie changed quite a bit in a Spielberg way. There was one chapter that made me very angry every time I read it. Dr. Wu wanted to genetically manipulate the dinosaurs so that they appeared more toward people's expectations, like slower, dumber.
Oh wow.
Living in swamps. And I was just like, why would you do that? You just discovered this thing. Why are you gonna? I don't know. But that's the whole theme of the novel, is kind of like capitalist.
I didn't even know that part.
Yeah, man. It's an easy read. I recommend it.
Okay.
So do you have a favorite department on set, and why? Or let me rephrase that. If you had to get stuck in a single department for the rest of your life, what would it be?
That could get stuck. Editing.
Editing,
oh,
really?
Yeah. I don't have to go to the field. Sitting at home. It's so related. I grew up playing video games, and if I could choose video games and editing would be like my top tier over video games for sure. It's just natural.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting. I grew up playing Mario Paint.
Oh yeah, totally. That's super rare.
So like, I feel like as an adult editing all the time, I feel like I'm still playing Mario Paint.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, I had that growing up too. Yeah, that's awesome. I remember the music that you could edit in there, and it was just so classical, and it was like really weird because they would give you pig sounds, and I was like, I don't even know how people make music. This is weird. All Mario Paint.
My brothers and I were all musicians growing up, like in high school band, and so like that music feature was fun. We would do covers and stuff. And then I would make little animated birthday messages with the animation feature, make songs, record them, and give them a videotape. It was the dumbest. It was so dumb.
Yeah, and I know all that you're talking about too. I know all about that. That's awesome.
But I edit primarily on Premiere Pro, and it's just Mario Paint for adults. Yeah. That's all it is. Yeah.
Premiere Pro. Let's see. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I do Final Cut Pro. Yeah, love it. It's good variety. Program. It's easy to get into, but I don't know it that well.
It's an industry standard, so like it's good to know. I think those two programs the most. I think will benefit any editor working in the industry.
Yeah, I think so too, for sure. And I know Sidewalk is going to have a class on Final Cut, and coming up in a week or two or something like that. And so that's cool. I was like, all right, people that want to get into a variety of editing, Final Cut's the best place to start.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Question number 3. What was your favorite shoot day or moment on Garden of the Gods, and why?
Okay. I would say it was the last day when we were in the basement building the last scene. That was the cool part. I enjoyed that day thoroughly. I felt.
Why do you think?
Because it was like a complicated setup. We were, it was tedious how we were trying to let the mason do his thing with the wall and all that. But it felt like it was very in tune and professional of what we were doing as talent. It was everybody was top notch, and I felt like if you wanted every single day on a film set to go 100% right, that day was really good. I mean, the party scene was great, but that wall, that's special.
Yeah, who builds a whole cinder block wall to do a short film? For all of the complications of that, 2 days shooting in the basement, like that should have failed, and it didn't. And it really was down to the crew and Steven, the mason. There was a lot of detail to it, and it worked really well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Very interesting how it all was done. And of course, I'm trying not to spoil it and stuff because nobody's seen it yet. It's great.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. I mean, it really reunited what I thought, Poe as myself and how I like him in certain ways. I was like, it ignited it.
Were you made to read Edgar Allan Poe in high school?
Yes. And that's where it all started.
Does a particular Poe story stand out for you?
What was it? See, I don't know any of his names. I only know vague stories, but the ones that we did in high school was, I feel like there is a sister that was locked in a coffin or something, and the time that they found her hair was completely gray or something like that. And it was like a time where they were trying to rush and find where this girl was lost, and they were hearing noises or something. Does that sound familiar to you?
Vaguely, yeah.
Yeah, and so that in high school kind of captured me a little bit. I was like,
it's weird. It's weird that they exposed us to those tales in high school. Yeah. Thinking back on it, it's kind of terrifying.
Yeah, it was like they taught me in English class, 10th grade, and it was like death and history and how he died in tuberculosis. And I was like, how is this a history? It just made it a pleasurable experience in high school, doing all that public school. I was like, hey, I'm into something I like in English class, and I enjoyed it.
Not bad. Let's talk about the Birmingham film community.
Yeah.
I know that you work with Sidewalk.
Yeah, I do. I do some of the festival managing, the co-managing of the on-site transit, and I do some of the concession work in the actual theater.
How would you describe the community of filmmakers here in Birmingham, in Alabama? Like, how would you, if you're talking to someone from out of state, like, how would you describe that?
Well, it's small and connected in a weird way, but also very vast. I know with our filmmakers film group, you see everybody that's kind of interested in it and see everybody that's kind of found out how to get a little bit next to filmmakers through social media. So there's a lot of people on there that might be amateurs to non-experienced to pros, and you wouldn't know that. That's kind of like what filmmaking in Alabama is. There's people here, but when you get down to going to the actual like festival and going into the actual cinema of Sidewalk, you realize who's out there, who's working, who's actually like got this passion for it. And we start to realize who we all are. We might not work on the same project, but we all have the same goal, and we all figure out what we need to do. And to be in a small community like Birmingham, we got some talent. We do.
Yeah.
It's just
there's a lot of heavy hitters that work out of this location, and like Bill, our DP, goes all over to shoot.
Yeah.
And
that's basically where I got all my knowledge on cinematography with the camera was Bill.
Yeah, he's good, man.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, Union, the movie Union was.
Union, Whitney Hamilton's Union. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually where we met, Kyle.
That is where we met. You were working in camera for Bill, and I started out as a PA, and then got bumped up to an AD.
Oh yeah, no, that's what happened to me. I actually started out as the special effects. In the beginning war scene, the opening, I filled in all those black powder shells so that people could shoot them out of the muskets. God, we made it was like tiny little things and 500 of them, really small, just packing gunpowder. Then I had to do squibs, and so I did all the squib work where people were getting shot in the head. And then after that, it was like art department and camera department when Bill needed some help. Yeah, man, it was great. 5 years.
That was a singular film for Birmingham, because like the way that she shot it, everyone had a chance to do something, and like everyone's kind of connected to that film.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and if you wanted to learn, that was a great set, not to be like on a SAG set. That was very professional to very independent. Yeah.
With some cool stuff, man. A Civil War movie, horses, gunfire, burning buildings. Yeah, that was awesome.
Cinematography.
So I've got one final question for you. It's not film related. It's only because I've asked everyone a similar question. I am looking for the capital of Ukraine.
Okay. And what, you want me to answer that?
If you know it. If you don't, that's okay.
Let's see. I don't know too much about Ukraine, but I don't know. I wouldn't know. I only know a little bit more about Russia.
The capital, and you've heard it, I'm sure, is Kiev.
What is that?
Kiev?
No, I have not.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Now you know.
I was thinking it was going to be a lot longer name.
No, it's short and relatively easy.
Yeah.
Well, cool, sir. I appreciate you taking the time to answer a few silly questions. And thank you very much for the work you did for Garden of the Gods and for the pictures you took. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in the near future sometime.
Yeah, totally. And after all this pandemic gets over with, I think we're going to have a renaissance of art and filmmaking. It might not happen fast, but I think we're going to get there as a community, as who we are.
Oh, man, I hope so.
Yeah,
I know I'm chomping at the bit to go make something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Thank you for having me on, Kyle.